And here we are, grade 2, group C, the third and final piece. If you haven't chosen your 3 pieces by now, this is your last chance. It's a lovely jazz work by Manfred Schmitz called Gospel Flair. And I like this because it gives you a chance to really show a different technique to playing the piano. You can rebel a bit and throw your fingers around a bit more, and always from the shoulder, but to be discussed later. It says play that last chord short. I'd like it a bit longer. Whatever. I'll leave you to decide that. What does it say about the piece? The composer says you'll have lots of fun moving into the exciting, wonderful world of jazz. Well, yes, fantastic. It's good to have a jazz style work in the ABRSM syllabus, and they're very good at the variety of music they offer for you to play. So here is a case where, again, size of your hand does not really matter. The important thing is you want to get the feel of this piece, and the composer suggests not swinging it. It's a straight quaver, a straight 8th note feel. I don't think it sounds too bad with swung note. But we are asked to play it with straight, not swung 8th notes, etc., etc. So that phrase, we have to phrase the music. So where's the music going to? Where's the highest note of the phrase? Where's the lowest note of the phrase? The E is the highest note, and it's going to the G at the end of the phrase. So say something with that, but bear in mind that the phrase appears 3 times, 4 times. It's repetitive, so practice or have fun working out different ways of playing it. There is no right way. There are plenty of unmusical ways. They mark you and ask that you play the 1st and 3rd notes accented. That's okay, that's a good idea. And bear in mind that phrase is answered by that for the, that's like the answering phrase. It also occurs several times. And that we want to be to me it reminds me of the earliest days of jazz sung in, that's in the title, gospel in the churches. That would be the response, that would be the Amen, Amen. Or similar word that is bum. So into the 1st chord, as it says, accent and diminuendo. And technically you want to go into the key. Doesn't matter if it was a classical piece, you would want to voice the upper note, make it all sweet, but as it's not classical music, we can be quite firm with all 3 fingers. They suggest using the 3rd finger on the middle C, 2nd finger, and whatever is comfortable. I wouldn't cross the fingers like I may have done. 1 thumb to the 2nd finger, 2, 1. So into the key, I'll exaggerate it, as we're on camera here too. In, oops, in, out. and that happens many times. And obviously for the phrase at the last line of the piece, same thing. It's an answer. So we're going to join that first phrase now with the second, and we want to use the last note of the first phrase, the G, as a springboard. If you imagine it, boink, land, like that. You want to boink, there's your springboard. So use the crotchet rest, the quarter note rest, as a, that's the groove really. That's as we know in jazz, a lot of the feel of the piece comes from the silence, the rests. I'll do that again. See how I'm exaggerating my arm movement here, but you really want to springboard off this, etc. And they, I would add even more accents to this phrase if you wish. Put one on that G there, or on perhaps even on the E. See what's fun. Vary it, as I said earlier, and get as much out of the music as you can. If you have very small hands, you may want to divide up this phrase with two hands. So I would take the, try that, take the G, E, G with the left hand, etc. And that works each time. And then the second half of the piece, it doesn't ask you to slur, and as we know, all these markings are editorial suggestions. So I would perhaps slur slightly. How about that for variety, because the phrase comes 4 times. Let's look at the second half of the piece. From bar 9, we have another question and answer phrase. A question, answer. So I want you to work on, doesn't matter how, again I'll keep saying big hands, small hands, as long as we're using full arm weight and playing from the upper arm, so it's not, it's never a small sound. Think big sound. Doesn't matter what shape, piano, even an electronic keyboard, you want to show full arm weight into each note. So under the microscope I'm doing that, which looks ridiculous, but that's the sound we want. So it's a full sound, never a harsh, aggressive sound, even in something that's jazzy like this. So strong fingertips, arm weight, practice like that, loose but strong here. And again, 3, how many times? 4 times. So perhaps crescendo towards the final one. It says mezzo forte as a suggestion. I would start quieter. Why not start as cheekily quiet as possible, but with the accents as well. So the hand has to be lower to the key, and you're still using arm weight, but you're pushing faster into the key, so the note will sound. So like what I said earlier, all that, but just lower down, but with the same energy, the same impetus from the shoulders. Crescendo. And I'd wait a little longer. It says 1, 2, 3, 4. And come back in quietly. As they say, mezzo piano, it's quite cheeky. And that's almost like a wait for it, wait for it. I'm not, yeah. They ask for the fermata, the pause, to be short. I think it needs to be a little longer. But you might get penalised, you might lose the entire exam. But that's just a personal preference. It's difficult to, it says ritardando second time. Perhaps bring the ritardando in earlier. So bring it perhaps half a bar earlier. And there we are. Have fun with it, this fun little piece.